Shalom. All right, Brakathe Yahweh, Brakathe Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. That's where I learned from. But I just want to, be very thankful that we can, the brothers that teach the word, and the brothers that can understand the word, and the sisters that can understand the word. Be very thankful because right now Jake is really bugging out. You had this guy um, was smoking, a black and mild or weed, whatever he was smoking. But that's that whole new covenant crew, a bunch of bug outs that he was in the car just bugging out, psycho babbling about a bunch of nonsense. So a lot of you brothers already saw that demon. And you gotta be humble and thankful, thankful, Salakia, that you was able to comprehend the doctrine and other men taught us. For myself, when I kept been in the truth a while now, you know what I'm saying, what really made me understand, of course, was the spirit, and the apostles and elders of Great Millstone got 100% of the truth. So that's how I started to really advance my learning, going into history, maps, geography, words. I mean, you name it. It's a lot of different things that the elders push us to be scholars. You know what I'm saying? The elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and you seen a lot of. You had this guy Gorilla Hebrew, well, he's a demon that says he's no longer a Hebrew Israelite. And I watched some of the video just to get the clarification. I didn't want to jump to no conclusion, but he all fucking confused. And what he's saying is he don't want to be associated with being a Hebrew Israelite, but he's still a Hebrew Israelite by ethnicity. That's fucking confusion. And what he got caught up in that scandal, and he's trying to disassociate himself from that. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You got Jake bugging out from one extremity to the next extremity. Just keep yourself grounded, bro, and keep your mind sharp. Stay out of shit. Just keep your head up and stay focused, because it's a lot of brothers dropping out of the truth, a lot of brothers deflecting out of the truth, a lot of brothers going back into the world, and et cetera, et cetera. Women as well. So you women, if you women that do watch my lessons, watch your conduct. Watch how you moving in the truth. Stay humble. That's the best approach. And for Jakes that's waking up and that's been in the truth a little bit, you got a lot to learn, Jake. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to learn. So stay in a mindset of being a student. Stay hungry, stay paying attention, stay detailed, right? Just have a hunger for this. And that's the best thing to keep you out of shit. But this picture right here, Paul McCartney back in the world. So when I saw this, it reminded me of when, Jake go back into the world. They don't like the truth for whatever reason. They get disenchanted. They think the truth is too harsh. They start calling it a cult because they listening to the world. And, Yahweh Shah told us it was going to be this way. This is a very um, sh- straight path, meaning that there's no room for error. The elect, this doctrine is only for the elect. That's it. So if you ain't of the elect, you're not gonna make it. It's just what it is. And Lord willing, we all make it. You brothers and you few sisters, and the Lord keep the spirit on you. So let's get into some precepts, because it's scary. It's always been scary, but it's scary when you can see somebody in the truth on fire, breaking down the scriptures correctly, and then the very next day the spirit has left them, and they like, I ain't with this no more. This is all made up. Jacob started deflecting and bugging out. But because the spirit has left them, that's why they get into that mindset, and the demons take over. Let's go here. It's scary. That's why Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah is to be feared. So let's go to Matthew. And all this Trump shit, is just a lot going on. It says Matthew 12 in 43. It says, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest and finding none. So this is when, just say a demonic spirit, you know, leaves your, vessel, right? And this could be a metaphoric sense as well. But spirits are real. They very real. Demons and all that is that's just what it is. And they'll start plaguing your mind and start pushing you back into the world, putting all kind of thoughts in your mind. And it can, a lot of jakes into the weed. They got that heavy weed demon on them. They got the adultery demon. You go down the list, right? They got that heavy demonic rap demon on them when they want to be a rapper, or they want to entertain that lifestyle. They got the club demon on them. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And there ain't nothing wrong with going out here and there. We still men at the end of the day, but we got to move with discretion and discernment, and don't let the world, overtake you, because Jake get caught up with them women, so on and so forth. So it's many things that you can go back into the world. Jake don't like the harshness of the truth. They think it's too strict, right? They lack that discipline, and it is many different ways. Many different things can do you in. Jake will start being seduced by another spirit. What that means, say they like the way somebody else teach, right? That's not 100% of the truth. They start getting influenced by that, right? I'm gonna get into that scripture as well. But the scripture said this would happen. It says, let's go to 44. Then he said, I will return unto my house from whence I came out. And when he has come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. So that's a symbolic thing and a literal thing, right? Jacob get his life together, start, doing his best to his abilities to keep those commandments. And, first off, his faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, right? Then you try to keep the statute, laws, and commandments to the best of your abilities, right? And the key way I've said that is the best of your abilities, because we can't keep it perfectly. So don't bug yourself out trying to do that, but the best you can, right? Let's keep going. It says, Matthew 12:45. Then goeth he and taken with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. So they get in Jake's mind and mess his mind up. And the Jake that was in the car talking that shit, he was all over the fucking place talking about he was God, talking about he, all kind of madness, man. And Jake, that means Jake is gone. Once some spirits overtake you, it's a wrap. It says, and the last state of the man is worse than the first. So he's worse than when he was in the world at first. The second time he back into the world, he completely through, man or woman. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. So it's a very wicked generation, perverse. They're being influenced by the world, the so-called money, the women. Esau, Edom got so many traps to trap you Jakes up. Let's go here. So the more of this scripture is, it's going to be heavy. We're in a heavy demonic time that's going to push Jakes out of the truth. These demons going to overtake Jake, and you'll see Jake into some black unconscious community shit, or you'll see him into Islam, or you'll see him just completely want to be a rapper. They just take their last check and say, I'm going to be a rapper. Whatever extreme. Jacob start bugging out, talking about he God, talking about he the universe, all kind of, we just saw it all. So, pray, you better stay in prayer heavily, praying to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, calling upon that name, right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, to help you get through this, man, because I get it. Sometimes we get plagued in the mind, and we have to tap in, rebuke it, and keep it moving, because these spirits are real. And they trying to push you. What's the objective? To push you back into the world. 1 Timothy 4:1. But that cannot happen to the elect. Now, the Spirit speaking expressly that in the latter times, the last days, right, some shall depart from the faith. So you're going to have some people that's calling on the name Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, right? Then what's going to happen? Giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. So a doctrine is going to hook, line, and sink them. You know what I'm saying? Seducing spirits. They might get hook, line, and sink by goddamn TD Jakes, TD Snakes, right? Or just whoever. It might be a brother in the truth. being influenced by whatever. Because Jake is prone, once the spirit leaves you, you prone to whatever. You have Jake into all kind of folly, right? And that's why you see Jake bugging out lately. They'll sit in the car, start bugging out, psycho babbling, rolling up a blunt. You know what I'm saying? These ninjas lost their mind, be overcome by spirits. 1 Timothy 4:2, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. A lot of these jakes, they so far gone, they actually believe the shit that they're saying. They actually believe it. The spirits got them convinced. That's how scary it is. Why is this going on? Romans 11:7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Right? You hear this? So you're gonna have different levels of this. You're gonna have Jakes that know they're gonna wake up to the Israelites. They're gonna call on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. They're gonna endure it for a season, a time, and then they're gonna go back in the world for whatever reason. Because a lot of Jakes just want to be a part of something. They're not convinced that this is really the truth. So they're just going along because it looks cool to Jake. Jake want to be a part of something. They haven't investigated to make sure that they've been convinced that this is the truth. That's why they fall out of the truth and go get seduced by one of these other doctrines. You know what I'm saying? It's what it is. Right here. It says, it's a scary thing to fall in the hands of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. It says the phrase, it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, originates from Hebrews chapter 10, verse 31 in the Bible. It suggests that facing God's judgment, particularly for those who have rejected faith or live a life opposed to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, is a terrifying prospect, right? It's a terrifying thing to fall in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah hands, because he could take the spirit off you and put demons on you. And then your ass will be cast into the outer darkness of the world, and you're going to some kind of madness, some kind of degeneracy, completely bugged out. It's scary. That's why you got to stay on your tippy toes and be grateful for what the Lord has gave you. You know what I'm saying? He didn't choose the whole world. Don't worry about because they don't get it. Your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, your baby mama, you know what I'm saying? Whoever, it ain't meant for them to get. The Lord don't love them, but he would have gave them the truth, right? So you got to be thankful you got it, and you rejoice in that, because this truth ain't for everybody. And Jake, you gonna have to understand that it's only for the elect. So if they ain't getting it, pack up, move on, change the subject, and don't even associate yourself with some people in your family, because family is the biggest snare for Jake. It says the phrase "drunk but not with wine." Jake is in a drunken state of mind. They mad. You know what I'm saying? Appears in the Bible, specifically in Isaiah 29:9 and Isaiah 51:21. That metaphorically describes a state of confusion and disorientation, not from alcohol, but from other causes like divine judgment or overwhelming circumstances. So you seeing Jake being overcome by these curses. If you're not of the elect, you're not going to make it. That's including me, whoever else. That's why we say we hopefully the elect, and you stay humble, because when you start getting proud, it starts to creep in all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Remain to be a student. Even though I teach, I'm still a student of the game of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. Right? So hopefully this lesson has been edifying. Call Halah Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah Bahashim Rachak Kodash. Shalom.